Yeah, hi there. These comments are for AD, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-Step System to Pass the Toefl IBT. And I'm taking a look at your email that you sent me right now. And Merry Christmas to you. Have a Happy New Year during this Christmas season of the year. So you say, I am, you want to put a Toefl student. I would probably say this, maybe, who found your course accidentally because I think you don't advertise your program. That is correct. I do not advertise using Google Ads or anything like that. I typically just go by word of mouth, or people will find me at YouTube. Okay, you say, I got the TOEFL exam twice. Not the right choice of words there. I would say took. I took the TOEFL exam twice in the last 3 months, and I almost got the same final score. But it was different in each, I would say here, section, not group. The last one was reading 22, listening 18, speaking 18, and writing 15. And here you might say a transition word of contrast to show that even though you received that score, you need to get higher than that. Say, however, I need to get 22 reading, 24 listening, 26 speaking, and 24 writing. I would say this. You might say something like this. You say, by the way, I have been in the United States 10 months ago. You can't do that. You could say, I came to the United States 10 months ago, so use the word came and then use the simple past because of ago, or instead of saying this, I have been in the United States for 10 months, so I don't have any problems I would say conversing with native speakers. Please, I need your recommendations. But you got to be realistic here. You are having some problems here. I'm looking at your writing right now, and I'm looking at your speaking scores. You got 18 and 15 on the TOEFL. It means that you're having language use issues. I can see the language use issues even in the email that you sent me. So you definitely need to solve grammar and vocabulary problems. But are you willing to do that? Because you've been in the United States for over 10 months and you have not solved those problems yet. Why is it taking so long? Now, that's really the first thing. Are you interested in solving those language use issues? Because you're not going to get this score here and this score here in the speaking and writing unless you improve really 3 areas: pronunciation, vocabulary, and grammar. Right? So those are some things you got to work on right now. Okay, so let me give you some recommendations. Basically, you want to go from 73 to 96. You have a lot of problems that you need to solve right now. The good thing is while you're one of my online students, you can post speaking and writing practice tests on a day-to-day basis. Most online TOEFL courses will not allow you to do that. You can do that at my online course for a very low monthly payment. Right now it's $38, but it's going to go up at the beginning of the year for sure. Alright, so what do? Here's my recommendation. Number one, you need to realize that you need to work on your basic academic English language abilities. Once you have that realization, here's your first step. My suggestion is, once you join my course, I want you to focus on the vocabulary, pronunciation, and grammar sections first. Do those first. Remember, the vocabulary section, you have vocabulary lesson 3, lesson number 4, lesson number 5, and lesson number 6. This will help improve your vocabulary. You can tell, even up here, is I use different words to help you explain the ideas that you are trying to say. For example, here, I use the word, I don't have any problems conversing with native speakers, instead of to contact native speakers. I don't think that was the right vocabulary word. So first of all, you need to solve your vocabulary issues. You also have some pronunciation issues. How do I know? You wouldn't have gotten this score here. You're not going to be getting 18 out of 30 if you speak clearly. So you have problems with your word stress, probably intonation. You might have some problems with some basic vowel and consonant sounds. You could have some problems with thought groups and blending and so on. So you got to solve those. Alright, now very important for you is to complete the grammar section of my course. I even recommend AD. As you complete the grammar lessons in my course, you should keep a grammar journal where you're actually taking notes and writing down the new grammar structures that you're learning, because your grammar right now is very limited. Basically, what you've been doing for the last 10 months, you've been using very basic vocabulary, very basic grammar. You have not gone beyond that. You have to go beyond what you're doing right now if you want to score 96 out of 120. So that's my first suggestion. Now, once you've done the first 3 sections of my course, this will probably take you 1 or 2 months. I recommend that you do the listening and the reading sections of my course. This is the second thing you want to do. Now, the listening part of it, you will have some practice tests in there. I'll have some strategies. I'll have some additional websites that you can go to practice your listening. And with the reading area, you want to concentrate. And actually, your reading is okay right now. But I would say still do the reading section. Now, what you can do in both the reading and the listening sections of my course, as you do listening and reading practice tests, you can take down the notes on the listening and the reading passages, and then you can use your notes to speak and write about the information that you're practicing. How do you do that? You can write maybe 3 250-word summaries of the reading and the listening passages that you're practicing. Now you can also give maybe 3 60-second oral summaries each week. This will also be very helpful, obviously, for your integrated writing and integrated speaking proficiencies. So you can do these things in addition to doing the listening and the reading practice tests. You can also practice writing summaries and giving summaries of the listening and the reading sections. Now, the third thing that you can do is you should go through the writing and the speaking sections of my course. That's probably the final thing that you can do. Now, in this case, to go from 73 to 96, especially given the types of language issues that you have right now, you're probably looking at anywhere from 3 to 6 months. If you practice really hard, if you follow my plan, of course, if you're not learning the words in the vocabulary section of my course, if you're not doing the pronunciation pre-test in the pronunciation part of my course and then studying the recommended lessons, if you're not doing the grammar, listening, reading, also writing and speaking lessons here, then it's going to take you even longer than what you're doing, right? Now, you've definitely improved your English since you came to the United States 10 months ago, but you still have a lot of issues that you got to work on. You see what I'm saying? So my best guess for you is probably 3 to 6 months of very hard study. My recommendation is 3 to 4 hours every day for a minimum of 3 months practice. Now if you want, maybe every 1 or 2 months you can complete a full-length IBT practice test so you can get some feedback. Now, if you do a full-length IBT practice test, once you're one of my students, you can go to the 8th section of my course. You can learn more about this option. It is an additional service, which means it does cost some additional money. It's not free. But if you do the full-length IBT practice test, 3 things are going to happen. Number 1, you're going to become more familiar with the actual format and the structure of the TOEFL IBT, but because you've already taken it twice, you're pretty familiar in that sense. But number 2, you build the strength and the stamina that you need for this type of English examination. Taking a 5-hour English test is not easy, and it's hard to learn to concentrate when you do that. That's one of the advantages of taking a full-length IBT practice set. Now the third advantage, I think the most important thing, is you become more familiar with your strengths and weaknesses on the different sections of the exam. Specifically reading, listening, speaking, and writing subtotals. So you can kind of see where you are and how you're doing. Then you can make some adjustments. Alright, AD, so those are my suggestions for you. I'm basically recommending here what's called a 4-step plan to help you improve your TOEFL from 73 to 96. Like I said, you're probably looking at about 3 to 6 months of serious practice. How does my TOEFL course work exactly? You probably want to know, right? So the main thing is, think of my TOEFL course as a password-protected website. At the website, you have over 700 vocabulary, pronunciation, grammar, listening, reading, writing, and speaking lessons. So you can work on anything, anytime you want, wherever you want, as long as you have a good internet connection. You can do all of those things. Now, when you're ready, as you complete your writing and speaking practice test and pronunciation practice test, that's when you get feedback from me. Because I have what's called a website where you can post your speaking practice test. I also have a location at my website where you post your writing practice test. And believe it or not, I listen to and read all of those practice tests and give you comments. All of that for one very low price each month. So you can use my course as much as you think you need it. If you think you only need to use it for 1 month, you can use it for 1 month. However, I do not think 1 month is enough time for you to reach your goals. That's just my opinion, right? But you can control how long you use my course and how much money it's going to cost. Okay, anyway, thank you very much, AD, for your email and for your questions, and all the best to your high-scoring TOEFL success.